2020 has been a big year for Motorola already. First its own foldable phone, the Motorola RAZR, and now we have the Motorola Edge Plus. The Edge Plus isn't just a rebranded Z series phone, it's a fresh start for the company's product line. This is a device pushed to the extremes and which can compete with the best such as Samsung Galaxy and Apple handsets. Motorola has furnished the Edge Plus with many elements from the leading flagships. The screen is carved over the sides like the waterfall display from the Samsung Galaxy S20 and Samsung Galaxy Note 10 lines of phones. It doesn't have an IP, water and dust resistance rating, but Motorola claims its design is water repellent, and of course it contains one of the rarest of features on a flagship phone, a 3.5mm headphone jack. The display is 6.7-inch Full HD Plus OLED panel. Its large, sharp and the endless edge sides are very attractive. The display's 21:9 aspect ratio makes this phone feel narrow, meaning some people may find it awkward to use one-handed. Like many other flagship phones in 2020, you can set the Edge Plus to light up its sides when receiving notification. Another great feature is the 90Hz refresh rate, meaning smooth video and gameplay. The phone's specs are top tier, from its Snapdragon 865 chipset to the 12GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. The Motorola Edge Plus packs a traditional quad rear camera setup. The star of the show is the 108MP main shooter, which can use pixel binning tech that reduces the megapixel count while effectively expanding the size of each pixel to let in more light. The phone also has an 8MP telephoto camera with 3x optical zoom and a 16MP ultra-wide camera, as well as a time-of-flight depth sensor to enable bokeh effect in portrait shots. The main shooter can also capture video in 6K UHD. Pictures taken with this device looks great with rich color and great dynamic range. On the front there is a 25MP camera for selfies, which delivers great picture quality. The Edge Plus is also 5G capable. It packs a 5000mAh battery and Motorola claims it will last for up to 2 days. Sadly, the Edge Plus maxes out at 18W charging, which has been the case with the previous Motorola phones. It also supports 15W fast wireless charging and 5W reverse wireless charging. The Motorola RAZR's design is a great execution of a genius idea. It takes courage to bring back flip phones in the smartphone era. This phone looks rather good and will turn heads when you pull it out in public. It's slimmer than the Samsung Galaxy Fold and has much more satisfying snap-to-close feel. When closed, it's a thick sandwich but with a footprint half the size of most handsets. The Motorola RAZR is one of a handful of foldable phones you can actually buy, but it's the first to bridge a modern Android phone and the familiar clamshell design of the past. The Motorola RAZR's P-OLED display is another crux point for the phone, with Motorola compromising on some features in order to pull off the folding design. The main display is a 6.2-inch P-OLED panel. The outside display, called Quick View Display, is perhaps one of the biggest innovations on the phone. You can cycle through notifications, use Google Pay, trigger the camera and even dismiss emails. Like the Galaxy Fold, the RAZR has a plastic display, which means it's pretty thin. You can feel the hinge and other ridges as you run your finger up and down the screen. It has a dual lens camera setup, one is 16MP and the other one is 3D time-of-flight sensor. Camera setup is fine but it's not exceptional. The main 16MP central camera is positioned just below the mini screen, which means you can use it for both regular shots with the phone flipped open and for selfies with the phone closed. When the rear camera is used for daylight photography, the results are good. The RAZR relies on a single lens for all of its prime photography. Sure, it has a lower megapixel count compared to other phones, but the sensor is much big and the photos are more vibrant with better contrast. Fact is, Motorola phones have never focused on photography. The interior 5MP selfie lens is fine and delivers surprisingly good pictures. The RAZR packs many camera modes common to Motorola phones, with software-assisted portrait, spot color and brand-level cinematograph mode. Due to the lack of zoom, ultra-wide or other lenses, this is what you will have to rely on for photo variety. It is powered by a Snapdragon 710 processor and 6GB of RAM. It's good enough for basic tasks and even typical games like Call of Duty Mobile and PUBG. It also offers 128GB of fixed internal storage. As for the battery, it comes with 2510mAh battery with 15W fast battery charging support. Motorola One Zoom was launched in September 2019. The phone comes with a 6.39-inch Super AMOLED touchscreen display with an aspect ratio of 19.5:9. It is powered by an octa-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 675 11nm processor. It comes with 4GB of RAM. As far as the cameras are concerned, the Motorola One Zoom on the rear packs quad camera setup consisting of a 48MP main shooter and a 8MP telephoto lens and another 16MP ultra-wide lens along with a 5MP depth sensor. There is a 25MP camera on the front for selfies. This device is based on Android 9.0 Pie and packs 128GB of inbuilt storage that can be expanded via microSD card up to 512GB. It is powered by a 4000 mAh battery with 15W fast charging support. It was launched in electric grey, cosmic purple and brushed bronze colors. Motorola Z4 smartphone was launched in June 2019. The phone comes with a 6.4-inch touchscreen display with an aspect ratio of 19.5:9. It is powered by octa-core Snapdragon 675 processor. It comes with 4GB of RAM. As far as the cameras are concerned, the Motorola Z4 on the rear packs a single 48MP camera. There is a 25MP camera on the front for selfies. This device is based on Android 9.0 Pie and packs 128GB of inbuilt storage that can be expanded via microSD card up to 1TB. It is powered by a 3600 mAh battery with 15W fast battery charging support. It was launched in flash grey and frost white colors. The Motorola One Hyper comes in at a fantastic price given everything it does. The Motorola One Hyper's LCD screen clocks in at 6.5 inches and sports a 19.5:9 aspect ratio, making it taller than most. It's relatively sharp with a similar pixel density to top-enders like the Huawei P30 Pro, but falling behind QHD Plus phones like the OnePlus 7T and Samsung Galaxy S10. Screen clarity is precisely where we would expect it to be, viewing angles are decent and outdoor visibility is great too thanks to the solid brightness levels. There's also a dark mode which ensures wading through menus is easy on the eyes. It's firmly a mid-range smartphone, so you can expect a high-end glass and aluminium construction. The back panel and the frame is made of plastic. Powered by a Qualcomm Snapdragon 675 chipset, the Motorola One Hyper was never going to knock our socks off with its power. That being said, the rest of the UI is nice and nippy, with everything from video playback to multitasking being lag-free. It comes with 4GB of RAM and 128GB of internal storage. The rear camera is a dual lens setup consisting of a 64MP main sensor and an 8MP ultra-wide snapper. The main lens performs well, giving images that are strong on detail and nicely balanced. Low light performance is also pretty good. Night vision software mode does reduce noise and bring out deeper colors, but even when this mode isn't turned on, the result is still respectable. Additionally, the digital zoom can take advantage of its 64MP resolution when the light is right and take pictures loaded up with a fair amount of detail. Video is shot at Full HD or 4K, with footage looking well stabilized across resolutions. The selfie camera has an unusually high 32MP resolution. The resulting images have good levels of detail. This device is powered by a 4000 mAh battery. The phone also ships with a turbocharger in the box, though how fast this will depend on where in the world you are. In the US, Motorola's One Hyper climbs all the way up to 45W charging. Meanwhile, in Europe, it caps out at 27W.